Hi everyone, I'm the Hylian Spartan, and I think Link should talk in the next Zelda game.
That's how you're opening the video? Seriously?
I figured I'd get right to it. Do you have a better intro?
Sure. Link should be voiced by Ben Starr.
Yes, it's me, Zelda. How are you? I bet you didn't expect this, you naughty, naughty princess.
Okay, I'm definitely leading the video now. Nintendo is responsible for some of the most iconic video game characters of all time. When video games are mentioned, it's thanks to them that Mario is one of the first things you think of. Nintendo is also a very old company and love to stick to their tried and tested traditions for better and for worse. While this ensures almost every game they put out is content complete and polished to near perfection, it means that some parts of their design have become outdated. The idea for this video came about after Metroid Prime 4 Beyond released, and some discussion arose around Samus's lack of, well, anything in the game. Hearing people's issues with the way in which she was presented reminded me greatly of problems I and many other people had with Link in Tears of the Kingdom, which led me to believe that this is more than a coincidence and kind of a pattern with Nintendo's approach to characters like this. I think these two characters are a great example of an area on which Nintendo could greatly improve. I figured I should probably consult with somebody who's actually played Metroid Prime 4 though, so I've invited my friend Axolotl Music to join me today so we can discuss.
Hello everyone, it is I, from the intro.
Oh, I thought we were, what are you doing? I thought we were doing this in sections, like I start and then you go. It's not time for you yet.
Yeah, but I'm here now.
Okay, well, before I get you to read this, I think it's worth mentioning that we're exclusively talking about the Zelda and Metroid franchises in this video. I think other than Pokemon, there's not really any other franchises that need voiced characters.
Oh, Pokemon needs it so badly, oh my god. I think that is a whole other discussion though.
We're not out here saying Chris Pratt should reprise his role as Mario in the next game or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Alright, well, do you just wanna read this part? Right.
Samus is so badass and cool and she deserves more appreciation.
This is a true.
However, her character in future Metroid games could do with some improvements. Metroid Prime 4 was one of those notorious games that just refused to release for the longest time. It had been 18 years since the last installment in the Prime series and 8 since the game was announced, and it had been fully rebooted at some stage in development in that time. Before we get into the problems with the game, I'm going to quickly bring up some of the better aspects of it, because I do truly think it is a really good game. It is just weighed down by some big issues.
Sure.
Well, first, just look at it. The visuals are amazing.
I'm not a fan of most Metroid music, especially not the combat music for the most part, but they usually make really good ambient and environmental tracks, and that is no different here. Fury Green in particular is just amazing.
Oh, and the gameplay is great too, but I'm sure you already knew that.
I know you're about to get to it in just a minute, but I think despite the problems with the characters themselves, I will throw them a bone and say that I think the facial animations and general look of the characters are like insanely good. This is something I don't think Nintendo has done quite this well before.
Anyway, now onto the main problems with the game. Up until the ending, I was having a blast. I had a few teensy issues, sure. I didn't overly care for any of the Federation troops, and Vuros was quite empty, but overall I felt that the good far outweighed the bad. Then the ending happened! Okay, so Samus throughout the entire game does not say a single word. That's fairly typical for the Prime games, but it leaves our critical exposition to fall to either the Lamorne statue scattered throughout Vuros or the Federation troops, who I want to strangle.
You are sneaky quiet, you know that?
Samus, at no point in the game so much as acknowledges what someone says to her with more than a vague look or a small nod. Characters will talk to Samus, ask questions, even compliment her, and she completely ignores them. This leads to two main issues. 1. Inexcusable flaws in narrative logic in which side characters will suddenly understand key plot points with literally no explanation. And 2. Samus comes across as an asshole. I love Samus, she's an incredibly cool character, but in Metroid Prime 4 she doesn't come across as cool. She comes across as a narcissist, and this is exclusively because of the lack of voice acting for her. If she just answered their questions, the tone would be completely different. A silent protagonist doesn't work when the world constantly bombards them with things to audibly react to and interact with. The worst of this comes at the game's climax.
If you care about spoilers, make sure to skip to the next chapter.
So basically, the game's quote-unquote main villain, God, what was his name again? Anyway, John Antagonist only appears a couple of times throughout the game. reappears after being defeated in an incredibly boring final boss fight, and then goes for one final attack.
Using the power of friendship, Samus and the Federation friends sacrifice their lives to defeat him once and for...
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
Okay then, using the power of friendship, Samus sacrifices her life to imprison him while the others are fine?
Again, no.
Okay, then what the hell happens?
Samus leaves. Her friends sacrifice their own lives for her and she just leaves.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but Samus doesn't strike me as the kind of person who would let somebody die to save her.
Once again, as problematic as this ending is, if she just so much as gave a verbal acknowledgement of the sacrifice or displayed a shred of guilt at the needlessness of it, at least it'd be slightly better.
I think now's a good time to mention another game in which some of these same issues can be seen, that being Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my god, here we go, someone complaining about Tears of the Kingdom again.
Hey, I haven't really done that on the channel yet. Anyway, the Legend of Zelda series of course features Link as the main protagonist, and while he was originally created as a stand-in for the player, he began to evolve and change in the various future installments. The hero of the wild is an interesting case because he very much has a character and personality outside of the gameplay. We see this in Zelda's diary where Link's silence is actually given an explanation. His silence due to the immense pressure on him as a champion and personal knight to the princess is something that is clearly shown in the memory cutscenes from 100 years ago. In the present, however, Link, while not actually speaking, is a bit more expressive, as we can see through the dialogue boxes, small interactions, and a handful of facial expressions. Most of these were carried over into Breath of the Wild's sequel, but in Tears of the Kingdom, it feels like Link's regressed back to his pre-Calamity stoicism, particularly in the cutscenes. There's only 2 moments in this game's story where Link displays any meaningful emotion. During Ganondorf's awakening when he fails to catch Zelda, and in the game's finale when he smiles when Zelda says she felt a warm, loving embrace.
What are you talking about? You don't see his face in that scene.
Oh, yeah, that's right. People moved the camera with mods and saw that he smiles when she says that line.
And they cut something that minor in one of the 2 scenes they share?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get why you're so annoyed at this game.
I understand this is a complaint that could also be applied to Breath of the Wild as well, but considering Tears of the Kingdom is set years after that game, you'd think there'd be some sort of progression of character or just something. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense here for Link to be acting like he did before the Calamity. That's why I wanted to make this video in the first place, because I know Nintendo doesn't do these sorts of things, but for myself and many other fans, the lack of anything to emotionally latch onto with this character is kind of a big disconnect for the story.
So if you were to try and fix these narrative issues in future games in the series, what would you do?
Well, for Samus it's actually pretty easy, because I think there's a couple of great templates to go off of. If you want a story where Samus is able to communicate and engage with the characters around her, I think we can look to Master Chief in the original Halo trilogy. In those games, Chief would remain silent during gameplay and only speak in cutscenes, allowing for him to both exist as his own character in the universe, and also fill the role as an avatar for the player.
That's a good approach if you're looking for a more dialogue-heavy game, but Metroid isn't really known for that.
There is another option though. I think if Samus is going to speak, the best example of what the bare minimum could look like can be seen in Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages. I think they should seriously consider making Samus's visor see-through in the main games, like the Slayers, or at least have some sort of polarization function where it can tint and untint. That way, even if she doesn't speak, we'll still have some facial expressions to get an idea of what she's thinking. And if you really want to keep her speaking role to a minimum, you could even have her give extremely limited bits of dialogue like the Doomslayer, even if it's just 1 word or 2.
Those are good options for Samus, but what about Link?
Well, Link's actually an easier case, because Nintendo already has multiple interpretations of Link that I think are the perfect blueprint to base this character off. Let's start off with the obvious things. I think without a doubt Link should have a more defined arc and personality in the next game, and I think we see this exemplified perfectly in Wind Waker, where he starts his heroic journey with a personal goal before he transforms into the hero. As for personality, I think I'd really like just to see a bit more emotion in the cutscenes. I don't expect Link's more silly, goofy side to make an appearance if future games are to be a bit more serious, but more range besides the passive, surprised, and panicked faces we've seen over the past 9 years, because that's basically all we've seen over the past 9 years. I think the best example of this from the series is by far Skyward Sword, where Link displays every emotion you can think of and feels so easy to connect with because of that. I mean, the guy literally breaks down when the girl he loves seals herself away, not knowing if he'll be able to see her again. Tears of the Kingdom does more or less that exact same thing, but with rocks and dragons, and this Link just... Basically, what I'm trying to say is less of this and more of this.
Great. Well, now that the video is done...
Wait, hold on. Sorry. We've still got one more thing to address.
What?
Well, at the start of the video, I said I think Link should talk in the next Zelda game.
This is true, but what exactly are you getting at here?
Okay, let me explain. It has been confirmed by Wes Ball, the director of the upcoming Legend of Zelda movie, that Link will talk in the film. I'm personally fine with this. Movies are a very different medium than games, and while I'm sure there are plenty of movies out there that have silent characters that work really well, I don't know if that would translate well into a Hollywood blockbuster. Now, I think it's going to be a strange experience hearing Link talk in the movie, but I think there is potential for the actor, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, to deliver a performance that really fits. Now, at the time of writing, the Zelda movie is releasing May 7th, 2027, and unless Nintendo wants to drop a full release out of nowhere like they did with Echoes of Wisdom, the next release we can expect will likely be sometime after that. Do you sort of see what I'm getting at here?
I think so. So basically, if Link's character in the movie is received well, elements should be carried over into the next game.
Exactly. I should say that I'm not in any way suggesting that Link talks as much as characters in a Kojima game do, and once again, I think the previous games offer some insights into how a voice for the voiceless characters could be implemented. I think giving Link full lines to read might be a little jarring, so I think the best approach would be to lift from Wind Waker again. Link does have 1 or 2 little lines of dialogue in that game. I think if they took small things like that and tied them to specific actions in this next game, then people would become more adjusted to the idea and potentially allowing for more in-depth conversations, or at least a couple of words in future titles.
Looking good, princess! Especially from this angle!
I think that could work, but who would voice Link?
I actually don't know. I might leave that discussion for the comments.
Or...
Don't say...
Please, Ben Starr, I beg you, I'd do anything. Play Link, please. I swear to God, do it. My life is your please, I will give you my soul.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you couldn't tell, I was trying to experiment with this one, so if there's things in this format you think need improving, let me know in the comments. Make sure you also check out Axolotl Music's channel. The content is a different style to mine, but your support would mean a lot for the both of us. I think that's all I have to say in this video. Remember to leave ideas for voices for Link and Samus in the comments. I can't wait to read them. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and stay subscribed.